And we're back, everyone, for Game 3 here between MG Nitro and 7men. I'm Random Minion Caster, and thank you for joining me through this series as we come to the concluding game. Score right now is 1-1 right now. Both teams sitting with a victory apiece. So this Game 3 will decide who really can be considered to have won this series here. Now, MG Nitro going to be back on the blue side. 7men on the red side here of the map. The team's going to be the same as last game. That's MG Super Carry in the top lane, one Lanos in the jungle, TA Piglet in the mid lane, Yakti Boat and Bogaro for the bot lane duo of MG Nitro. On the red side, top lane Sucks in the top lane, Teemin in the jungle, Lil Big Baby as the mid lane, and Mookstar NY and Brian 2055 for the bot lane duo of 7men. Picks and bans have been completed here. Bans coming out from MG Nitro. They're going to ban the Vi, Wukong, Ashe, and Yuumi. So they've completely adapted their bans here to all the things that 7men have played in the last two games. So definitely paying a lot of respect to them. On the side of 7men, they're going to continue banning out the LeBlanc, Caitlyn. But this time they're going to ban out the Leona, Tristana, Nautilus as well. So a lot of attention paid to the bot lane there of Yakti Boat and Bogaro. And in terms of picks, we have a first pick coming up, MG Nitro, for the Diana. Looks like Diana is going to be the hotly contested pick between the two teams right now. And it will go the way of TA Piglet. And they're going to first pick it once again. Going to follow up with the Graves in the jungle, Irelia in the top lane, Jinx and Nami bot lane here. So lots of new champions coming out the side of MG Nitro. On 7men's side, they've got a lot of changes here too. Going with the Fizz, Aatrox, and Lee Sin for their top side of the map, and a Vayne Blitzcrank for the bot side. So Mookstar trading around with Yakti Boat. Mookstar going to be the one playing the Vayne this game, and with the Blitzcrank support, which Brian already played last game. And in the other lane, so new champions here. So Aatrox for top lane Sucks, Lee Sin for Teemin, and Lil Big Baby on the Fizz there for 7men. And the matchup thus far has been very, very explosive. The lanes clashing head-to-head have been great. And Irelia, Aatrox top lane, that's one that should have lots of action. I like the aggressive junglers here from both teams. Graves, Lee Sin, both great at invading, great at those skirmishes and duels as well. Middle lane, we've got two assassins going at each other. Diana versus Fizz. I do believe Diana has the edge on the head-to-head here, but we did see Lil Big Baby picking that Fizz to counter the Diana, so I am hoping to see a lot of action in that mid lane between these two very volatile assassins. And in the bot lane, very different picks here. You've got the Vayne Blitzcrank, and they're going to be looking to get kills. Vayne is almost an assassin as an ADC, so wants those isolated fights there. On the other side, Jinx, really, really strong team fight champion, one of the late game hyper carries here. So we'll have to see how that bot lane turns out. I do somewhat expect it to go the way of 7men in the later laning phase. Initially, Vayne might struggle a bit with range, but really I think it will come down to whether or not Brian can land those hooks on either Yakti Boat or Bogaro. And with all that being said, we can go ahead and load onto the Rift here for both teams. And I'm very interested to see if we do get invades. We did see an attempted invade last game coming out the side of MG Nitro, which managed to stall out the Blitzcrank. And we might see the same coming out again. Blitzcrank still in the hands of 7men, pardon me. And MG Nitro does have a Nami, which is very, very strong level 1 if she can land that bubble on multiple targets. It looks like Brian, again, a bit late to leave the fountain there, so if they do an invade, it will be a very, very delayed invade here on the side of 7men. And it actually looked like they were prepped for it. They had everybody but Brian in the area there for a bot side invade. But it looks like instead Brian's just going to run straight to lane here. That's a very unusual starting position. I don't know what might be going on there, but
Minions have spawned.
Either way, neither team going to go with the invade here because MG Nitro did not feel comfortable going in on that. So both sides will be starting bot side once again. It looks like just going to be the standard start we've been seeing the last two games here. neither team really feeling like they need to switch up their jungle pathing a bit. Now, one thing I didn't really touch on in the picks and bans was sort of the team composition here, and that's because to a large extent I don't feel like either team drafted particularly for a unique team composition. Both teams have strong lanes, and I do feel like that's where they are bringing this fight down to, is the early game, the laning phase, and just strength of comfort in your champions, how well you know them and how well you can execute. They are fairly well-rounded teams. On the side of MG Nitro, they don't have a true tank, but they do have quite a few duelists and brawlers here. Graves can get real tanky, especially if he builds some lifesteal there, his passive with the resistances. Diana gets kind of tanky, Irelia can get kind of tanky, so they don't need a proper full-on tank as a front line. On the side of 7 men, Aatrox gets rather tanky, as does Blitzcrank. So again, they've got a pseudo-tank front line, as well as the Lee Sin as well. If he does opt to decide to go tanky and utility-based for that, insect basically might be pretty tanky as well. So we'll definitely have to see how that turns out. I am expecting a lot of skirmishing throughout the game though. And with that, we do see pinks coming down already. T-Min going to be the one to pull the trigger here. First with the Lee Sin, looking to find a gank in the top lane. He ran from blue buff to red buff and is now in that top lane. Does get the slow down, does have the red buff, the stun coming out, but a beautiful flash will dodge that out. And T-Min does manage to get out barely. Just barely gets out there. 20-something health was as low as he got there, but that is still first blood, and it goes the way of top lane sucks as well. And we've seen that if you do give top lane the advantage in his lane, he can get action done. And now Juan Lano is going aggressive, trying to pick up T-Min with the fractions of health he had. Will successfully do so, but will instead trade that kill over to top lane sucks, and he's made the problem for super carry worse now, because top lane has a double kill right now. And in game 1, we saw what happens when you give a double kill to a carry top laner. Super carry the one to get the double kill in game 1, but now in game 3, it's top lane sucks who gets a double kill. We'll have to see what he can do with it right now. Mid lane, both mid laners opting for Ignite. There's no utility, there's no safety here. They're going for kills, and this is just the way we want to see it between these two teams here. VGR, Vengeful Reapers versus X-Null games were also really scrappy games. Lots of fights breaking out there. So as a whole, Noxus division right now, just looking like all the players in here love their fights. They want to brawl, and that just makes for exciting, good gameplay here. That's how you get those highlight reels, those mechanical outplays. And only one team in Noxus is not playing this week, and that's DOV Chaos. So we'll have to see how they perform. We don't really have an idea of how they might go, but so far the other teams all looking very evenly matched up right now. And with that, we do see T-Min here invading aggressively, as does seem to be his nature. He's done the same, and he's gonna leave just the small raptor alive there on one Lanos, flexing on him there. There is, of course, a strategical reason for doing that as well. If you leave only the one camp, the camp cannot reset, so it will delay the enemy's jungle as well. One Lanos gonna have to take the time to finish off that one last raptor there. And it looks like T-Min will be able to do the same for the Krugs as well, but this time we'll spot out one Lanos in the area. So both junglers will know they're down there, and that's going to set one Lanos quite a bit behind as well. Mid lane, we see Piglet getting a lot of damage down. That is the expected trade between Diana and Fizz. Diana usually winning that trade early. The shield means that she does extremely well into melee assassins, able to inflict damage as well as reduce the damage she takes as well. But that does change at level 6 when Fizz gets access to Chum the Waters there. A lot of his damage comes from his ultimate, and so we'll have to see how that turns out. Not to mention if T-Min shows up as well. They do have more than enough damage, and that's the volatility of the mid lane right now with two assassin style champions. And this game too, Piglet doesn't look like he's going to build Rod of Ages on his Diana. He's going straight damage, double amp tome with boots here. So definitely expecting to see kills breaking out near the mid lane. Other than that, the bot lane right now is a bit static. Brian struggling to land those hooks, and that's to be expected. Bogro and Yocti playing really safe, really carefully, which is exactly what they want to do, because Jinx needs time to scale up. But top lane action happening as Super Carry going in on top lane Sucks. Has to be careful that he doesn't die. One Lanos has arrived, but it won't be enough. The flashes coming out from top lane Sucks will be able to secure him the kill, and potentially a second one here on one Lanos. He's just waiting for his cooldowns. Doesn't come up in time, so he will back out. Will not be able to hit one Lanos up, but that's still a kill for himself there. That's a kill in a 1v2 situation, and top lane Sucks starting to become that monster. Very, very similar to what Super Carry pulled off in game 1 here. That's up now, the shoes on the other foot. Now Teemin coming in. Piglet has to be careful. He's getting ganked here, and they have enough damage. Chum the Water's coming down. It'll be a small fish, but they're not doing it for the damage. They're doing it for the CC. That's all they need. Flash coming out of Lil Big Baby to secure the kill there. And now suddenly the score becomes 4-1 in favor of 7 men. And one of the dangers right now of these super volatile lanes is that when a lane gets ahead without external pressure, that lane will most likely stay ahead. We're seeing that in the top lane between top lane Sucks and MG Super Carry. And if Lil Big Baby continues to get these kills here, he's down CS right now, but once he bases and buys, he will be able to get stronger and be able to match some of TA Piglet's damage as well. And not to mention the roams later. Dragon is up right now. We do see Teemin in the area. He's just going to take the scuttle. Not going to start the Dragon up just yet. His bot lane does have prio for now, but it's really pretty even right now in that bot lane. And they're going to go base and buy. They're sitting pretty on 2,000 gold here for Mookstar. So will want to be able to purchase the items. Has straight up bought the Berserker's Greaves and the Vamp Scepter. So not necessarily the strongest of laning, but certainly lots of sustain. And finally Brian lands a hook, but unfortunately Mookstar not in the area. They won't be able to follow up, and Bogoro just going to take a little bit of poke there. Will be able to heal himself right back up. So you see some roaming out of top lane Sucks as well. Just getting some vision in the river. Wants to make sure he can spot one Lanos coming out at him. He wants to continue this isolated 1v1 as long as he can. And both top laners, their teleports are still down. MG Super Carries will come up first. And that means that if this trade, if they take much longer to get that first Drake, MG Super Carry might be able to teleport and join the rest of the fight there, giving the advantage to the side of MG Nitro. And the gold lead, only about 1,000 apart right now, isn't very big. It's spread out. Bot lane Teemin getting a gank on him. Bogro getting absolutely melted there. That's an ADC and an Enchanter support. No real tank. So if they get caught by anything, they just get melted down. And this might be the advantage that 7 men require to feel comfortable taking the Drake. Instead, Brian running up to the mid lane there, potentially looking for a pick, will not find it. Instead, one Lanos gonna get spotted out here by top lane Sucks, and top lane Sucks has no worries about fighting one Lanos in a 1v1. We do see MG Super Carry in the area, but Lil Big Baby is coming up as well. Chum the Water's coming out. That's gonna guarantee kill on to MG Super Carry, but they're not even going to give that over. Instead, top lane Sucks going to last hit that. He's going to dive this turret against one Lanos. One Lanos flashing. We do see the Tropo coming out. The kill onto one Lanos from Lil Big Baby, but unfortunately for him, TA Piglet was following him up. The flash will secure the kill there. He's going to trade his life in that kill. So it's 2-for-1 in favor of 7 men there. And while that was happening, Teemin, with the aid of his bot lane, did manage to pick up that first Drake at about 10 minutes there, a little later into the game than what we've seen thus far, but they had kills on their minds, so still a very good trade for them. And last game, the Mountain Drake was a pretty important soul, actually. Gave a lot of resistances here. This game, probably not quite as important. Yes, they want to brawl, but that's a Lee Sin, and it doesn't look like he's going tank. He did go for the Warrior Enchant to start the game off there, so that's damage Lee Sin build, it looks like. So the Mountain Drake, not as strong on him. Will be really good on Aatrox for top lane Sucks, though not so much for anybody else. So not necessarily the worst first Drake to lose here, and losing first Drake isn't that big a deal. It takes at least 4 for it to really start having an impact. Mid lane, TA Piglet continuing his bullying ways onto Lil Big Baby there. Will not be able to get a kill, but that poke will stick for quite a while there. It looks like he's out of Corrupting Pot bot lane. The Nami ultimate coming out. The tidal wave going on to Brian. The slow is there, but he will be able to disengage. The bubble, though, lands onto Muxar, and that's Muxar getting completely melted mid lane. They return the favors once again. Teemin ganks the mid lane, and the sheer burst damage sees TA Piglet getting melted down. They return the favor in the mid lane. And we did talk about how Blitzcrank hooks. If he hooks either Bogro or Yakti Boat, they probably win that 2v2. But the reverse is true as well. If Bogro lands a bubble onto Muxar, as Vayne will go down extremely quickly as well. The Bilgewater Cutlass does give a bit of sustain, but in a straight up fight, it's simply not as good as the raw 80 that a BF Sword will give you there. And he's coming back to lane only with the dagger upgrade there as compared to Yakti Boat, who has the pickaxe as well, so even more raw 80 for himself. That means Yakti Boat will have a small advantage in lane for the next little while. Muxar will have to be careful. It will also get outranged by Yakti Boat's Jinx. The rocket form on his weapon will be more than enough to poke Muxar out in the laning, and Blitzcrank has no sustain, no healing built in, unlike Bogro's Nami. Now top laner getting ganked, but this time he does actually have to be careful. It's not as healthy as he was before, does not have World Ender available, but he's still going to get the kill onto one Lanos. The Conqueror stacks are stacking there. His Triumph giving some health, and that's going to be super carry now, potentially going down. Piglet's Moonfall, though, is enough to save him and shut him down. That's a 400 gold bounty going the way of TA Piglet, and he's going to be more than happy to get that. Chum the Waters coming out. That is a mid-range Chum the Waters there, and that's a lot of damage. A beautiful troll pull to avoid the Q from Diana, not letting her follow up, and that's going to be a kill going over the way of Lil Big Baby. And he's now 4-1-1. Doing very well for himself. Has gone over that early game hump where he struggles against Diana. Can win these one-on-ones now, and that's going to work really well for him. He has gotten a ton of damage down onto that mid lane turret as well. It's really low. If they get Harrow, they can easily pop that turret down. And speaking of Harrow, neither team right now looking particularly hard at objectives. Instead, Teemin going to gank that bot lane. Does get the Dragon Kick onto Yakti Boat, but a good heal from both Bogro and Yakti Boat will keep him alive. One Lanos arriving to stop any further aggression for now, but Teemin doesn't care. He lands the Q, he'll follow it up, and he gets some poke onto one Lanos at the expense of a turret shot. It's a cheap price for him to pay. And the Inferno will be coming up in about 30 seconds as well. So if they continue to apply that pressure in the bot lane, 7 men should have easy access to the Inferno Drake there when it spawns. No real wards though down on in the pit itself. We do see one Lanos now making me a liar, dropping his vision down there, and they do have good vision on the side of MG Nitro. Mid lane a gank coming in, but that's a Fizz. He's very, very slippery. Does manage to get out quite quickly there on the side of 7 men. Their vision has lapsed a little bit here. They are now just starting to get some vision onto the pit. They do get the pink ward down, but unfortunately, it does actually manage to stop the regular ward from seeing anything. So it looks like the side of MG Nitro just gonna give that up. And while that was happening, Lil Baby getting another solo kill in the mid lane against TA Piglet. TA Piglet has to be careful. Last game, he ended up feeding a ton of kills as the Syndra. It looks like it might be happening again this game. I think 7 men has played really well to their win conditions. They know that if TA Piglet gets a hit on the Diana, he's absolutely monstrous. But if you set him behind early, he seems to be struggling a little bit. He did struggle also with the Syndra in terms of positioning and trying to stay alive from behind. So they did send team in mid quite a few times to get a couple of ganks. And now Brian getting rooted in place. The bubble lands. The chompers are down too. Brian gonna go down, and it's gonna be an auto from Bogro taking him down as well. He turned around, wanted to try and get the static field off for a kill. Golden State trade his life over, but Yakti Boat goes down as well, and I think that's a worthwhile trade. ADC for support. Muxtar will definitely say thank you for that. And Lil Big Baby applying the pressure, manages to get the first turret of the game for his team as well, and suddenly 7 men are up about 4,000 gold. A lot of that sitting in the top lane. 1,500 gold lead for top lane sucks, and now he'll have to deal with one Lanos, but Team In was there. The Dragon Kick gets him out. It's still a 2v2 though, as TA Piglet has arrived. Moonfall is good, and he survives! MG Super Carry gets a double kill there, and TA Piglet limping away, just barely alive. Little Big Baby looking for the kill, does get the Chum the Waters as well. Tropo coming down because he's looking for TA Piglet instead, but he faltered. He puts the Ignite down, but he hesitated for a second, didn't get the last auto, and they get the kill. That's a 3-for-1 in the top lane. Well played from MG Nitro, and they closed that 4k gold gap to a 2,500 gold gap in just one swift fight. And that gold lead in the top, sitting at about 1,000 before, now just shrank to only about 500. The mid lane gap, only 300 now, and now the biggest gap just existing in the jungle, as Teemin was doing work and still up about 1,000, 6,700 gold. But that will stabilize the lanes, and that helps a lot for them. They definitely needed that, because if not, Lil Big Baby will continue to just dominate Piglet, and Super Carry would continue to find himself losing to top lane stuff. Bot lane, lots of action going down. The static field this time will be able to pick Bulgaro up. The hooks are starting to land, and that means kills. Bane also starting to scale up a little bit, has completed that Blade of the Ruin King as well as the Zerker's Greaves. Flashing out from Brian, trying to stay alive, will not be enough, as TA Piglet and one Lanos training down there. The gang squad's getting rolling, but it is countered by Teemin as he shows up, managed to get the kill onto one Lanos as well. So they trade 1 for 2 after all said and done in that bot lane, and Teemin's been absolutely massive for his team right now. While top lane Sucks applies a ton of pressure, Teemin's been the one sort of matching all the roams, all the ganks here from the side of one Lanos, as well as getting Lil Big Baby ahead in his lane early, which is now allowing him to apply pressure. And it looks like Lil Big Baby is going to go for that Herald right now, starting it up, warming it up for Teemin to arrive. And that's all the objectives going the way of 7 men again. It seems to be the case right now for the Noxus division, is that whoever starts the objectives tends to maintain the objectives, and they tend to just remain in the lead. Second turret going down for the side of MG Nitro. That gives even more gold over the way of 7 men as well as opening up the top side of that. Both the top and mid outer turrets are down, and that does mean right now that their jungle is no longer safe. One Lanos has to be careful, but they pull the trigger first onto top lane Sucks. He's going real low right now, flashing his way out, but Teemin manages to go round the back. They will be able to pick one Lanos up, and now Super Carry taking a ton of damage. Tops over to top lane, but it won't be enough, and that's going to be a double kill for top lane Sucks. TA Piglet now going to the top lane, trying to stop this push, but at what cost? Because Lil Big Baby was the one who picked up the Eye of the Herald and dropped it mid lane. Shelly going to take the mid lane inner turret down, and that just means bad news bears here for the side of MG Nitro. They get a second charge off. That inhibitor turret almost going down just from the Herald charge alone, and suddenly the middle of the map has been blown wide open for 7 men. They can invade with impunity right now, and MG Nitro have to be careful. They've lost a lot of vision here. The dragon is coming up. It's going to be Ocean Drake here in about 10 seconds. That means Ocean will be the soul of the map as well. And Ocean Soul, we've said before, really strong. Lots of regeneration in these fights. And when you apply damage, you get a certain amount of regeneration back as well. And they're already struggling to kill top lane Sucks in that top lane. Lil Big Baby also doing really well for himself. Difficult to kill Slippery, and they almost managed to snipe it. The Super Mega Death Rocket coming out from the Octi Bolt drops it extremely low, but Teemin ultimately able to pick that up even without the smite there, and that puts them at soul point. And 7 men really convincingly winning this game right now. They are in the lead, but they do have to be careful. If they continue to get the Octibolt skill up, the Octibolt could potentially destroy the entire enemy team. This is a Jinx, and Jinx can do a lot of splash crit damage here. Top lane Sucks and Super Carry going at it once again. Super Carry using the Blade of the Ruin King, applying the slow, but it might have been too early because top lane Sucks just pulls him right back into the fight, and now all of a sudden he continues the damage. Super Carry gonna get destroyed there, and on the other side of the map, Teemin assisting Muxar and Brian. They get the last outer turret for themselves there, and that means that the vision control is going to be much more important for MG Nitro. They do have a little bit of wards in their jungle, but that's about it right now. The one pink ward left in the river bot side. On the side of 7men, though, they're warding actually pretty similar in positioning to MG Nitro. They do have a bit of vision on the top side, but nothing on the Baron right now. Baron spawned about a minute and a half ago, and nobody's got vision on it. To be fair to 7men, though, they can roughly see where all of MG Nitro is, and so they know that right now there's no chance the Baron is getting snuck away. But from the side of MG Nitro, they're shoved in, so they can't see if 7men are backing off or not. They just lost vision on top lane, Sucks, as well as teaming, and now they're losing vision on the bot lane, so they do have to be careful there of a Baron sneak from the side of 7men. And this is one of the problems with these sort of win lane, win game compositions is you fall behind, you're done, but the fight's breaking out. A beautiful bubble onto Brian here. We'll see him get melted down. Mookstar is doing damage, but the exhaust is slowing down his auto attacks. He's having problems finishing people off. One last going to take a lot of damage, but beautiful bubble catches two. Top lane Sucks and Mookstar both get slowed down, and we said this before, but if you let that Jinx free fire, she's going to do work. Does manage to force Mookstar out. Now top lane Sucks running for the hills, a super carry chasing him down. The pull there will not be sufficient, and instead the Moonfall going to drag him back in. That's yet another shutdown, yet another 300 gold bounty going over to TA Piglet from top lane Sucks' dead body. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered here for MG Nitro, to inject a bit of life back into them. And one thing to note, in the bot lane this time, neither ADC really falling behind. One Latnos gets hit by the Lee Sin Q. This might mean he's dead, but TA Piglet is there to back him up. The Dragon Kick to disengage means Teemin will be able to remain safe after getting ganked in the jungle. Gold difference not huge in the bot lane, about 800 gold. We did see a bigger gold difference earlier. One Lanos though getting caught yet again by Teemin. Has to be careful, he can't eat much more of these Qs. Good sidestep will stop him from being rocket grabbed there, and so Brian's flash expended in vain. And I just want to go back to the ADCs here. Blade of the Rune King Guinsoo is completed from Mookstar on the side of the Yogdi Bolt. He's got the Runan's Hurricane and Infinity Edge built, so that's 2 item spikes here for both ADC. So in team fights, Yogdi Bolt will be able to get those crits off on multiple targets with the explosion, with the damage splashed across to other members as well. That's how Jinx wrecks team fights right now. And a flash coming out from TA Piglet there. Must have been a fumble, but that does mean that the flash will be unavailable for the next fight, so TA Piglet gonna have to find other ways to access the backline there. Dragon will be coming up in about a minute, and that will be Ocean Soul for the side of 7men if they can procure that Drake for themselves. So MG Nitro going to be put on the horns right now, trying to decide whether they go for that Baron or whether they go for the Dragon here and deny the Soul, because if they can pick up 4 Ocean Drakes, that's pretty good for them as well. Plenty of sustain. And in some of these fights are getting rather extended here, so would definitely be beneficial for them. Would also help out in a siege situation as well. Neither team have the best of siege compositions, and it looks like they're going to run down, try and stop this Dragon take here. That pink ward doing a ton of work in the river bush. Spotted out 7 men rotating the area. Chum the Water's coming out. It's a medium-sized one onto Piglet. Then Piglet jump back in. Gets the Moonfall up. That's a lot of damage. It didn't kill him in time. Then Piglet does go down, but he gets a huge burst down first. Unfortunately, it won't be enough as Teemin and Mookstar go chasing in. They manage to pick up the Yogdi Boat and Fogro as well, and suddenly the game swings the way of 7 men here. They're going to be able to pick themselves up a soul at no cost at all. They didn't lose anybody in that fight, and the pings for Baron coming down as well. They're going to run straight across with the double Ocean Soul. Brian extremely low after that fight there, but will be able to regen quite a bit of that up just on the way to Baron. MG Super Carry and One Lanos both still alive. Can he pull the Miracle Steal off? We saw Teemin pull a Baron Steal last game, but One Lanos looks like he's not even going to try. They're just going to defend the base, see this over. In fact, they don't even have any vision at all on the approach to Baron, so not going to be safe for them to enter. On the other hand, 7 men will spot out Graves and Aurelia heading in, but won't even matter because Baron's already down, and 7 men get the soul, get the Baron, and are looking to get the W on this game. It feels like so many minutes ago that I was trying to talk about how these sort of team compositions don't have a proper comeback mechanic. Both these teams opted for sort of brawling compositions which have a lot of strength in lane, but unfortunately that means that when you're behind, the only thing you can do is just try and fight harder. That's about it. That or catch people. And unfortunately for the side of MG Nitro right now, they've lost so much of the map that it's very difficult for them to push out safely compared to 7 men who still have all their turrets up. MG Nitro were not able to get a single turret so far this game, and that means that 7 men can be very comfortable and safe knowing that their backline is all present and that it's highly unlikely they get caught from behind when they're not past the river here. On the other hand, everywhere is looking dark for the side of MG Nitro right now. They really don't have a ton of good vision. They're trying to get a vision line set up in that bot side, but top side's where they've got to worry as top lane's bringing his baroned up minions into this turret right now, but that doesn't mean he can take that many turret shots. The minions are burned up, but he himself doesn't have enough. The pull is good though, and he does manage to turn around, soloing Super Carry, and Mookstar is in the area as well. Bot lane though, the Nami ultimate comes across, the knock-up is good, and Brian's really tanky. He survived somehow right now. Will finally go down to Yaktibo, and Yaktibo able to pick up Teeman as well. That's a double kill onto the Jinx. That's the last person you want to see it on. Picks up a 500 gold bounty while he's at it. Piglet gonna die in the top lane though, trying to 1v2 under his turret against the Vayne and the Aatrox, and Lil Big Baby gonna get that mid lane inhibitor. They got the inhibitor turret earlier and they finally get the inhibitor, and they're into the base now. They have baroned up minions. They've got super minions which will be pushing in shortly here. This is the final stand here for Nitro. Piglet is dead, Super Carry is dead. They need to fight this or they're gonna die, and now one Lano is gonna be dead as well. Only the bot lane left alive to defend this. Super Carry finally back up. Super Carry gonna be the one to pick up the kill here, but it's gonna be Mookstar getting damaged down. They do get Buggeroo. And Yaktibo, he's so far up without any support. I think he forgot that top lane was still alive. Will get melted, and it's going to be Vayne getting the triple kill credit for that one. And they're going to push in. They've got the Nexus touch. They don't care about the Nexus. Piglet gets Mookstar there, and top lane is 1v1 with Super Carry again. They don't need to care about this. Their minions will finish the Nexus for them at the rate it's going. There is one super with more on the way right now. Instead, top lane wants to pad his KDA going. Will pick up the ace, the kill onto MG Super Carry, but might go down to the turn here. The Ocean Drake's keeping him alive. Not enough. The burn is good. He gets shut down. 150 gold finally going the way of MG Super Carry there, and the minions will finish off the job that 7 men started. Well played to 7 men. 29-11. The final time on that game there. Extremely well played from both teams. And despite the fact that the scoreline might make it look like 7 men absolutely dominated that match and is a much better team than MG Nitro. Well, to be fair, they did dominate that match. Got every single objective. 1 Baron, 4 Dragons, and 2 Heralds, not to mention all the kills they managed to get. Top lane sucks. Hard carrying that game, showing Super Carry who really deserves that title in this game. But that being said, I think part of it was a compositional issue here. There was no comeback mechanic from MG Nitro, so they had to win, and they had to win early. They had to snowball, basically. Whichever team could snowball first would win this series, and unfortunately for them, they ended up feeding a 3 kills to top lane sucks really early, and that kind of meant that the top lane was over, and one Lanos just couldn't quite find where to go because Teeman was just everywhere on the map matching him, and just that top difference began to spread across the lanes here. A complete opposite mirror from game 1 here, where we saw Super Carry with the top difference. Now we're seeing top lane sucks with the top difference. And I'm really, really enjoying this. Looking forward to this a lot, because when we watched the games earlier today, Xnol's top laner as well as Vengeful Reapers top laner, both of them doing very well for themselves as well. So the top lane seems to be really important here in the Noxus division and can apply pressure across the map. People have been complaining top lane is an island. It's 1v1. They just want to play the game. Well, looks like here in this division, they can play the game because once you get fed, you start running over everybody from that top lane. And with that, all the games here are done for the Noxus division. DOV Chaos not going to play week 1. They did get a bye week 1 here. And instead, we have now seen the remaining 4 teams, MG Nitro, 7 men, Vengeful Reapers, and X-Null. So really close games from all of them, and I'm definitely expecting great things from this division. It looks really close, and I'm loving it. So definitely very, very excited for week 2 here. And with that, I'll be signing off. I've been Random Minion Caster, and thank you all for tuning in. Really enjoyed casting for you guys, and we will be back this Friday for week 2, the live streams here. We will post which game will be casted. There has been some reshuffling going on right now with the schedule, so because of that, I don't actually know who will be playing whom this Friday. So do keep up with the schedule, and I hope to see all of you on Friday.